Good morning, and good morning. Welcome to another episode of Smoked Out Society. We doing a morning early show today, folks. Donald Trump is all over the fucking place this morning. I've read some shit up where they think he's got bodies buried in his fucking golf course, yo. This is crazy. When they start thinking you got bodies buried in a golf course, that is something wild right now. This fucking cat, bro. This cat, I'm gonna fuck this cat up, bro. That is crazy, bro. That is crazy. When they thinking you out here doing that type of shit, that's when you know shit is a little bit out of fucking character, bro. That is wild. But we're gonna go through some videos. I think the Clintons are speaking this morning as well. Bill and Hillary Clinton are out here speaking this morning. So I definitely want to get into that to see what's popping on that. But let's get into some of these videos. Yeah, the Clintons are speaking this morning. So I'm trying to find that video to see. Definitely want to look at that. If the Clintons are talking this morning, I definitely want to see that. Yeah, because if the Clintons are talking this morning, they talking about this nigga took foreign bribes and everything, bro. This shit is crazy this morning, bro. This whole shit is getting the fuck out of hand. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. He said the Clinton was testifying this morning. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I'm trying to find it. I don't know. I saw a video that said that Bill Clinton is testifying this morning. I don't know if that's true. That's crazy. Yeah, I can't find it. That's not legit. They're not in. They just talking about it. All right, here we go. We're gonna start off on Midas Touch this morning. They got some good shit going on this morning. First and foremost, good morning to the 4 people in the building. That is awesome. I don't even have my second phone open yet. So yes, I'm starting to see my crowd grow a little bit more. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you very much. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's find out what's going on this morning. Trump is caught up in some shit this morning, bro. Yeah, already know.
In the face by in.
Once again, good morning, everybody. Welcome to an early edition of Smoked Out Society. I'm doing a show because my phone keeps going off, and Trump is just caught up in all kind of shit. So let's see what's going on, people. Once again, good morning to everybody.
Donald Trump is panicking. He is flailing as he has been hit in the face by instant karma. You now have former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton saying, you know what? You want us to testify about the Epstein files? We'll do it. Let's do it in public. So, hey, Donald, why don't you testify in public as well? We're not afraid. We want to do it in front of the world, live on TV. So Donald Trump held this disastrous exclusive interview with NBC. And Donald Trump then starts praising former President Bill Clinton. And he's like, you know what? I really like Bill Clinton now. And I'm really upset that they're going to make him testify. And, you know, I think that he really understands who I am. Watch this. Here, play this clip.
It bothers me that somebody's going after Bill Clinton. See, I like Bill Clinton. I still like Bill.
What do you like about him?
I liked his behavior toward me. I thought he got me. He understood me.
Really, Donald? And then Donald Trump responds to this next question. Well, Democrats are saying that if former President Clinton testifies, you should testify too. Watch Donald Trump's response.
It is a shame.
NBC News broke the story today. I don't know if you saw it, that the Democrats are already saying, if you bring President Bill Clinton and he has to testify, we're bringing President Trump. What do you say to that?
I think they might say that, you know, but they've already brought me. See, I've been brought. They had me indicted many times. Many times. They didn't do that to Clinton.
Do you think?
And it's not just Donald Trump panicking right now, because what's in those Epstein files, that ain't going away, Donald. And it's only a partial release of the documents. I mean, we know that there's at least 3 million more documents, which could equate to 25 to 50 million pages that are still missing. I saw this meme, and it's true. Did you know that there are more references to Donald Trump in the Epstein files than there are references to Harry Potter in all 7 Harry Potter books? Yeah, there's over 38,000 references to Donald Trump in the Epstein files. So Speaker of the House, MAGA Mike Johnson, Trump sycophant, is asked by Manu Raju, do you think Donald Trump should have to testify under oath now? And MAGA Mike tried to run away. Here, play this clip.
Shouldn't Trump have to answer some questions too? He's been named more than 1,000 times in these documents.
The president submits to press inquiries every day.
Not under oath. Not under oath.
Not under oath, but he's asked the questions all the time and he answers them. We'll see where it goes.
Now, that interview that Donald Trump did on NBC was disastrous on a lot of fronts as well. I mean, Donald Trump was asked about his ICE and Border Patrol Gestapo murdering Americans and killing people. And Donald Trump's concern is, my big concern is it's bad press. It was bad publicity. Donald Trump's like, you killed 2 people and all of a sudden I'm getting bad press? Why am I getting bad press? You have ICE and Border Patrol Gestapo killing people, and you think about it in terms of ratings? How sick. Here, play this clip.
It's bad. I hate it. I hate even talking about it. 2 people out of tens of thousands, okay? Mm-hmm. And you get bad publicity. Nobody talks about all of the murderers that were taken out of our country. They don't talk about.
Good morning, and good morning. Carlton Stanton is on the whole set. Yo, Carlton, man, I'm up early, man. I don't know if there's any validity or truth to this, but nigga, I'm getting information and word back that there's a possibility that Trump got bodies buried in his golf course. I don't know if there's any truth to that, bro, because this whole Trump shit is getting crazy. But I've been reading shit on the dark web and shit that they believe not only is Trump's wife buried in that golf course, and we know he buried his wife there, but they think there's evidence in that golf course. I don't know, speculation. Allegedly. Let me keep saying that because I don't need nobody fucking coming after me for some bullshit. But allegedly, that's what they're saying, bro. I don't know. I just know that he's having a horrible morning this morning, Carlton, and that's why I'm playing these videos. You're going to see he's just getting fucked over bad this morning.
But it was 2 Americans.
They don't talk about, we have the smallest trucks. As an example, we've been very tough on the waters, and soon.
Yo, you know what's spooky about it too, Carlton? I didn't even know he had his ex-wife buried in his golf course. Who the fuck buries their wife in a golf course, bro? That's crazy. And the kids, Her kids should be fucking disgusted. Why would you bury my mother in a fucking golf course? Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Pretty much overall. But if you look at the waters where we knock out boats.
And then Donald Trump says, but I'm getting great polls right now. Great polls. I'm bringing in $18 trillion. And to the credit of the reporter fact checks him to his face and says, actually, your polls are really bad. People hate what you're doing to the economy. And Donald Trump's like, oh, really? Here, watch what goes down. Let's play this clip.
I'm starting to get great polls on the economy, which I think
the polls on the economy aren't they're not great.
They should be great.
They should be. So why aren't they? If you believe that,
I don't know. I mean, look, I've got
Americans tell us. We hear this. I mean, we're going to get into the economy later, but they tell us they don't feel it.
Just answer. Yeah. I have $18 trillion being invested into the country. Biden had less than $1 trillion for 4 years, and the whole country was going to credit.
When does America feel it?
Do you know that if they won that election, and we won in a landslide, do you know if they won that election, this country I think it was finished. I actually think it was finished.
And then Donald Trump starts bragging that he has already won the lawsuit that he has filed for $10 billion against the government, which should be we, the people's government, which he's essentially taken over. He says that, I won the lawsuit and now I'm going to pay myself $10 billion. He sued the IRS because he said they leaked his tax returns like 10 years ago when every other president released their tax returns. And so he says, well, now I'm going to pay myself $10 billion. And the reporter's like, we have $38 trillion in debt. So you're going to be taking money from the system in order to pay yourself. And then Donald Trump's like, yeah, but I'll give it to a charity. What are you talking? You're stealing.
Coconut, just some crazy shit. Hold on, let me pull up the name. I got this new shit from my peoples, yo. This nigga done came to me with a fucking shopping list, bro. I kid you not. This nigga done came with a shopping list, had me up here thinking I was in a fucking, in a food mart. I'm like, nigga, what the fuck is this? Nigga showed up with about 12 different flavors. I took some shit called coconut spice, and some other Fruity Pebbles. I always get the Fruity Pebbles. I love me my Fruity Pebbles. But I'm smoking this coconut shit. I'm gonna tell you right now, this shit got me. This shit, I just started, bro. Look, I just started, and I'm like 3 or 4 pulls in, and you see I ain't hit it again. I'm like, hey, yo, what the fuck? Like, what a minute, this nigga done sold me some super shit. So yeah, I'm taking my time because I'm trying to concentrate. Word, this nigga done sold me some. Get on the computer and pass out shit. Nigga, I keep smoking. Next thing you know, Carlton, this is going to be me. Watch. Check it out. Huh? Oh, shit. I'm back. Nigga sold me that super weed, bro. Like, the fuck are you doing, man? Trying to do some content here, nigga. I want to pass out on the computer. Yeah, but, yo, this shit is going bad this morning. These videos I got this morning, Carlton, are bad. Yo, Trump is really going through it this morning. I don't know what the fuck else, but let's get back into it.
Our taxpayer dollars. Play this clip.
Essentially, the lawsuit's been won.
Hey guys, did you know some are this instead? Now the reason.
I guess I won a lot of money.
How would this work? So Scott Bessent's the head of the IRS. Pam Boondi's the head of the Justice Department. They're going to defend the IRS against you. You're the boss.
Well, there's never been anything like it, in all fairness.
So are you going to tell them to pay you?
Don't forget, I sued as a private citizen because I sued between terms. I won 3 times. I won 3 times, but I didn't assume, unfortunately for this country, I didn't assume office the second time. But here's
this nigga's about to sue all of the working Americans because his taxes got leaked. Nigga, every fucking president is supposed to give up his fucking tax returns, bro. What the fuck is the problem? This nigga's about to take $10 billion from us, yo. Wow.
Sorry. I sued because they broke into Mar-a-Lago. That was before I became president. Now it goes along, and it turned out that the suit is a very strong suit.
You're going to tell them to pay you, though? You're the boss.
Well, what I would do, tell them to pay me, but I'll give 100% of the money to charity. I don't want any of the money.
You take it out of the system. A couple more questions here.
No, I'm putting it back into the system.
Yeah.
If I give money to American Cancer Society, I will give 100% of the money away to charity. I don't want any of it.
$30 trillion debt, and we're going to take $10 billion out of the system.
Well, I mean, you give it away anyway. They give away a lot of money.
Your endorsement.
I'll tell you what. Yeah. Speaking about that, Minnesota and these other states, we have massive investigations going into fraud.
Yeah.
Do you know if we captured 50% of the fraud of this country right now, we would have better than a balanced budget. And you got to mention that. Minnesota, $19 billion in fraud.
And then Donald Trump brags about taking aspirin all the time. So he has thin blood, and he wants his blood to be nice and thin. I mean, this guy's a madman. Here, play this clip.
There will be
taking the aspirin? Still taking the aspirin?
I do. I take aspirin. And I don't want to change, I don't want to.
So you go against your doctor's orders. You do what you kind of feel.
I've been taking aspirin for 30 years. And I don't want to change it. So, they say, take the smaller one. I say, well, I want that blood to be nice and thin running through my heart.
Now, the dominoes are falling since the release of these Epstein files. We've seen national security advisors like in Slovakia fall. We've seen no longer really Lord Mandelson, the former UK ambassador to the United States. Brad Karp, who is the chairman, the former leader of the Paul Weiss law firm. Remember that first law firm that capitulated to Donald Trump and entered into that settlement? And people are like, Paul Weiss is such a prominent firm. Why would they capitulate to Donald Trump? Well, it turns out that in 2019, Epstein was exchanging emails with Brad Karp about helping each other out and helping out other people there, and this grotesque messages. And so Brad Karp is now resigning from Paul Weiss. We're like, why would Paul Weiss do this deal with Donald Trump? Oh, got it. Their chairman was in the Epstein files.
Oh, Lord.
And by the way, it's looking like the Labour Party's leader in the UK, Keir Starmer, Prime Minister Starmer, that government's fallen apart right now because of the fact that Mandelson, the UK ambassador to the United States, is all over the files. He's very influential in the Labour Party. And there are a lot of people who are saying, look, Prime Minister Starmer's a good, decent guy, and I think he's been really good with Ukraine. I think he's been really weak in dealing with Donald Trump. And I understand, there's complexities in the geopolitical situation, but in any event, he had a disastrous appearance before Parliament yesterday, because I don't care what political party you're from. This is a massive, massive issue if people are in these files. And a very influential person in the Labour leaders in the files, who is the UK ambassador to the United States. So watch as you had someone from the opposition party questioning Starmer, and Starmer struggled to get through this. But at least they're it's bandaged, ripped off in the parliament there. And they're talking about these issues. And, here in the United States, I mean, you see what MAGA Mike is. So just contrast how in every other country, there's things that are happening now if you're affiliated with Epstein, but not in the United States, where Donald Trump's at the heart of the cabal. Here, play this clip right here.
Can the Prime Minister tell us, did the official security vetting he received mention Mandelson's ongoing relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein?
So clear. Prime Minister.
Yes, it did. As a result.
Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. Did y'all just see this man had no choice but to admit what the fuck is going on, people? Yo, Jeffrey Epstein in death has destroyed so many people's fucking lives, bro. Bro, how many people are caught up in this fucking Jeffrey Epstein shit? This is crazy. This shit is spanning across countries in other fucking governments. This is wow, bro. Yo, Carton, man, if you ever want to hit the link, man, you are more than welcome to, bro. I would definitely like to have a sit down with you, bro. But this is fucking crazy, people. I gotta rewind that again. Did you hear how the whole fucking chamber, they were stuck? They couldn't believe it. Once again, listen to this shit, people.
Mention Mandelson's ongoing relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein?
So clear. Prime Minister.
Yes, it did.
Oh,
As a result, various questions were put to him. I intend to disclose to this House all of them, the national security, prejudice to international relations on one side. I want to make sure this House sees the full documentation, so it will see for itself the extent to which time and time again Mandelson completely misrepresented the extent of his relationship with Epstein and lied throughout the process, including in response to the due diligence.
That's call for football. What the season has been.
To all the comebacks.
To all the tush pushes.
To the parlays we
And so as Donald Trump gets more and more desperate, I think we're going to start to hear things like this. You had Steve Bannon yesterday saying that
all trying to get
we're going to have ICE surround the polls come November. Remember, earlier this week, Donald Trump was posting photos of Steve Bannon saying, great guy. Steve Bannon's all over the files. Steve Bannon was talking to Epstein right up until Epstein's death about rehabilitating Epstein's image, giving information. Seems like funneling information to Trump, from Trump. I mean, those are all over the files. Bannon, Epstein, Trump. And so here's what Bannon said yesterday. Let's play this clip.
You're damn right. We're going to have ICE surround the polls come November. We're not going to sit here and allow you to steal the country again. And you can whine and cry and throw your toys out of the pram all you want, but we will never again allow an election to be stolen.
And speaking of ICE,
y'all motherfuckers are trying to steal the election. Yo, folks, we got 6 people in the building. Make sure you hit that like. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Let me tell you what's about to go down. They're trying to use ICE to scare people and intimidate people from going to vote in November. It's not going to work, bro. You don't seem to understand that it's not only the people that don't like Trump that's voting, it's his actual fucking followers that are voting against him, bro. Trump is done. There's nothing you could bring ICE, you could do what you gotta do, man. His own followers are turning on him. States that have never been blue have turned blue. Come on, man. Steve Bannon is trying to keep himself out of jail. You heard what anybody that's been following this Epstein shit knows. Steve Bannon is all over the motherfucking Epstein files. He's been the Grape Island, everything. Stop it, bro.
Did you know that ICE agents have apparently been dropping these Ace of Spades cards as death cards when they detain people? They're like terrorizing people with these death cards. Have you seen this? Here, play this clip.
Today, members of Congress are raising serious questions about this Ace of Spades card that they say is being placed by ICE agents in Colorado on the abandoned vehicles of people who have been detained. Lawmakers are calling this move an intimidation tactic because the Ace of Spades is also known as the death card, often associated with psychological warfare. One leader from an immigrant rights group in the state told a local station that they know of at least 2 people who had the card on their vehicles.
So the reporter then asked Donald Trump, look, you tweeted out some theories about theories like your conspiracies about Italian satellites changing the election results in 2020. And you believe that there's, Venezuela was working with Italian CIA, China. I understand the conspiracy theory. And Trump's like, I didn't tweet it. I retruthed it. Play this clip.
You tweeted out some theories about Italians and satellites. I mean, do you believe that stuff?
No, I didn't cheat. I sometimes will retruth.
Yeah.
I will retruth.
And we also have been learning that Donald Trump's director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, has been spending a lot of last year in Puerto Rico, where she's been investigating one of Trump's deranged conspiracies of Hugo Chavez, Venezuelan machines hacking into the American. I can't even follow what these conspiracy theories are. But I think one of the things that Trump's going to try to do with Maduro is get Maduro to plead guilty and say that Venezuela interfered with the 2020 election. Like, that seems to be an obvious thing that Trump's trying to do. Oh, Melania was asked about Ghislaine Maxwell when she was holding a press conference using hostages who were freed, American Israeli hostages who were freed, but she was using that to promote her movie. Then she was asked a question about Ghislaine, and she's like, I do not want to talk about this. Here, play this clip.
There's a call from many Epstein survivors to have Ghislaine Maxwell moved to a high security.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
We are here celebrating the release and the life of those two incredible people. So let's honor that.
Thank you.
And then Donald Trump's been sending emails like this to his supporters. It says, from Trump, hello. Before I sign your name on your tariff check, I want to check that your name is spelled right. So it says, and then it's a photo of Trump holding $100 bills, and you click it because he says he's going to give you money. This is the only tariff rebate email authorized by Donald Trump. And again, when you click the email, there's no tariff rebate check. You think you're getting a tariff rebate check because you click the money, but you give him your money. I mean, he's just a scam artist and everything. So share that all with you. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. We appreciate you.
New Midas merch. Head to store.midastouch.com today and get yourself the best.
That's the first video. That's the first one we got right now. This shit crazy, bro. I tell you, it's just fucking ridiculous, bro. It's absolutely fucking bonkers what the fuck is going on. So the next video we're gonna watch, because like I said, what's crazy is about that the next one we're gonna watch is about what's going on. Yo, the fact that this Epstein case is reached the United Kingdoms is fucking crazy. What we're gonna watch now is a parliament of them going after the prince and several other high-profile people in the UK who are on the Epstein list. This is crazy. This is how fucking bad this is. Epstein was fucking over a lot of, yo, he knew, man, yo, for what it is, I don't approve, fuck Jeffrey Epstein, and if he did commit suicide or they killed him, he got what he got for doing what he was doing to these little kids. But mentally, Epstein is a smart motherfucker, yo. Let's keep it 100, yo. Let's keep it 100, bro. This nigga is a G. He knew what the fuck he was doing. He made sure he cobbled up all these powerful people, information, proof, and everything. He knew what he was doing. He felt that the day that he went down, that all these people will go down, and exactly what's happening is fucking happening. This shit is crazy, bro. How many fucking people are involved in this? This is just straight lunacy. Pure fucking lunacy. Who is at my fucking door at 11:27? God damn. I think it's a delivery package. Give me 1 second, people. Somebody's at my door. Give me 1 second.
Yo. You niggas talking shit. Got a lot to say on the gram, the YouTube. You know what I say though? Ja niggas toto, yo, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Y'all niggas toto, yo, shut the fuck up. Niggas talk shit, they don't even pop. I spill your whole shit, they gon' need a mop. You niggas mad puss, probably got the wop.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. Women kill me, bro. Charlene is the brokest rich motherfucker I've ever met in my life, bro. This motherfucker is always fucking broke, but every motherfucking day, 2 to 3 times a day, we getting packages in this bitch. From fucking Amazon, from fucking Walmart, from fucking kids. The kids, what the fuck is going on here, man? Every fucking day, bro. Content is king. You already know. Every fucking day she getting a fucking package in this motherfucker, man. Yeah, I'm hating. So what? Fucking shit, man. So this is the one I was telling you about. This is the Parliament. This is the one we're gonna watch now. This is just crazy, bro. This is just great. Yo, Con, you know what I'm talking about, Con. If you live with a female, you married, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. These be the brokest motherfuckers I've ever met in my life. But every motherfucking day, there's 2 or 3 packages coming to this motherfucker. Get out of here with that bullshit.
Aaron photo.
Oh my God. Damn. Look at this shit, Carlton. Damn, Carlton, I didn't even mean to do this. And look at the first thing we see, a victim with a face covered. This thing is in his drawers. Hey, yo, oh, Lord. Jesus. Oh, man. Yeah, this is about to be bad, folks. Here we go. These are people from the UK, powerful people who came to the United States and were doing what they were doing with Jeffrey Epstein and everything. Look at that. I didn't even mean to show that. We got a nigga in his fucking tidy whities and a Vic. This shit crazy. Here we go. Let's do this.
All hell broke loose in the United Kingdom Parliament yesterday as the opposition party pressed Prime Minister Keir Starmer and his government about Lord Mandelson, Peter Mandelson, one of Jeffrey Epstein's closest friends, who was all throughout these files. He's in his underwear and photos with girls, engaged in some of the most disgusting communications with Epstein and likely some of the most grotesque behavior. And it turned out that the government under Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
That's the dude. If you don't know who they talking about, that dude in the underwears was the dude that sent the email to Epstein talking about he saw this British 9-year-old little girl that he was in love. My man, yo. Oh God.
When they were vetting Mandelson, who became the UK ambassador to the United States, the vetting showed these relationships with Epstein. And apparently Mandelson said, what you're hearing is overblown. And I didn't really have these extensive relationships. And the government brought in Mandelson and kept him as a lord, kept him, in these positions, kept him appointed him as the ambassador, and now this is like toppling the government in the UK right now. Prime Minister Keir Starmer did his best to try to defend the fact that he appointed Peter Mandelson to be UK ambassador to the United States. But unlike in the United States, where this Trump cabal just says whatever, we don't care, we're just going to ignore the fact that Donald Trump appeared 38,000 times in the United Kingdom. It's a big deal to have affiliations with the world's biggest pedo.
God damn. Donald Trump went to the United Kingdom 3,800 times? Yo, what the fuck? Hey, yo.
In Jeffrey Epstein. And so we're seeing the domino effects of the Epstein files in every other country other than in the United States government under the Trump regime, where they just deny that Donald Trump appears 38,000 times and Trump's at the center of the cabal. This is a very difficult time for Prime Minister Keir Starmer to try to survive this. Let me just show you what went down, and you'll see the opposition in Parliament. This is very, the Parliament in general in the UK, it's very combative. It's very in your face. You have to stand up there and justify yourself, on the floor of Parliament. But I just want to share with you, the types of questioning that Keir Starmer was given by the opposition. Let's watch this first clip right here.
It absolutely beggars belief. And if we want to clean up politics, then this sort of thing should not be being allowed to happen. Politics is a difficult place, we know that, but this was down to judgment. Yeah. It was down to the judgment of one person, or was it the judgment of others around that person? So I urge the honourable and right honourable members on the Labour benches opposite, do the right thing this evening. Stand up for democracy, stand up for Parliament, and stand up for decency.
Alicia Kearns. Thank you. Liberation Day. That is how Mandelson described the day of Epstein's release for prison for procuring children to be trafficked and raped. Mandelson's next message was, "How is freedom feeling?" Epstein replied, "She feels fresh, firm and creamy. Mandelson's next reply,
oh my God,
naughty boy. Now, we hadn't seen this email, I'll admit, when the ambassador was appointed. But let's look at what we did know when he was appointed ambassador. We knew at that point that he had consoled this paedophile, consoled him on his being found guilty and convicted for just one of the many, many crimes he committed.
Oh,
we also knew that while he was Deputy Prime Minister of this country and Business and Trade Secretary, carrying the flag of our great nation on an official visit to New York, he stayed in a convicted paedophile's flat. How dare he do that while representing this country? But the idea that no one in the cabinet office, no one at the Department of Business and Trade, no civil servant, no political appointee knew that he'd said, no, I don't need a hotel, thank you ever so much. I'm going to stay at my friend Epstein's house. Oh, by the way, he happens to currently be in prison, incarcerated, but I'm going to stay at his house anyway. That, to me, raises serious questions about why he was not pursued for misconduct in public office back at that point. And no one can say that the Labour government did not know, because having been a civil servant, I knew where my ministers were staying when they're abroad. Not sure they always wanted me to know, but I knew. And none of them would have ever done that. This is the heart of the issue with the judgment of the Prime Minister. Now, on Monday, one of its ministers, the government's minister, said nobody objected when Mandelson was appointed. I would say, look at Hansard. I remember objecting very, very clearly and repeatedly, because it was very clear at that point that Mandelson had repeatedly said that Epstein did not deserve to be in prison, that this was an awful time for him, how he was caring and thinking for his good friend. Why was there no investigation, and why was the vetting not done right? Because there is no question that the vetting cannot have been conducted properly. I have been through vetting myself, and I accept it was not as a minister, but as a civil servant, I've been sat in a room with a rather elderly gentleman for 2 hours, asked about my every sexual proclivity, asked about when I lost my virginity, asked about whether I'd taken drugs or not, asked about every single aspect of my life. Because civil servants, whether they be apolitical or politicians in this place, should hold themselves accountable and be right to be appointed for these roles.
Here's another clip right here. Let's play it.
This has been an absolutely extraordinary day in British politics. Yep. It is not often that there is an audible intake of breath in this chamber. But we all heard it earlier on, that gasp when the Prime Minister admitted that, yes, he had known that Peter Mandelson had an ongoing relationship with Jeffrey Epstein at the point where he appointed him our ambassador to Washington. It is a truly extraordinary admission. And the argument that the Prime Minister is making now, and it is quite incredible, is that he did know, but he didn't know the depth and extent. And this implies that there is some reasonable extent to which you can be in a long-term relationship with the world's most famous paedophile and still be appointed to our ambassador in Washington. That you can be, to a certain reasonable in depth, involved with the world's most corrupt man and still be appointed His Majesty's ambassador. And now the Prime Minister is asking to be taken on trust. Well, after this whole sordid affair, I'm afraid that's just not good enough anymore. The Prime Minister knew that Mandelson had stayed in Epstein's house while he was in jail for child prostitution.
Oh my God.
Did that not set some alarm bells ringing in the mind of the Prime Minister? Or is that not deep enough a relationship to have worried the Prime Minister? The member for Skipton earlier on told the House that the British government was warned by one of our closest international allies about their deep concerns before his appointment. Did that not set some alarm bells ringing in the mind of the Prime Minister? No, instead, he appointed a man who had twice had to resign over corruption. And now, unbelievably, his argument is, if only there had been some sign that Peter Mandelson was like this. Unbelievable, Madam Deputy Speaker. And this may just be the beginning. We really need to hear an answer now from the Minister on a specific point which ministers ducked and refused to address earlier on. The whole House will hear if he does not answer. Will the government agree to a full investigations into Mandelson's behaviour while he was our ambassador in Washington?
Oh, man.
Because on 27th of February last year, Mandelson arranged for the Prime Minister to meet Palantir, a client of Mandelson's company, Global Counsel. That meeting was not recorded in the PM's register of meeting. It only emerged later. Palantir were then awarded a £240 million contract by the government on a direct award rather than a competition. We need the Cabinet Secretary to examine the circumstances of that contract. Will a minister agree, yes or no? And I asked the minister, why wasn't that prime ministerial meeting recorded in the normal way? How many more such lobbyist meetings were there? What other inside information was shared with Mandelson's clients? And will he now agree to a full inquiry into Mandelson's time as our ambassador? Yes or no? Can furthermore the minister reassure the House that the proper process has been followed for all Number 10's other appointments recently? Can he say that very clearly to the House and give us that reassurance? Now, before I come to the manuscript amendment, Madam Deputy Speaker, let me say something positive about some of the contributions we've heard today from the Labour backbenchers. The member for the Forest of Dean gave a genuinely superb speech in which he said he would not be able to look victims in the eye if he voted for the government's amendment. He was alone. It was a brave speech. He was not completely alone, because we also heard sensible comments from the Labour backbenchers, including from Oldham West, Ashton-under-Lyme, Widnes, Middlesbrough and Thornby, pointing out that the government's cover-up amendment was simply not going to fly. I think the member for Liverpool, Wavertree, actually said that she would be ashamed to vote for it, and she was totally, totally right. All those Labour backbenchers have shown their character today. But what a contrast with the behaviour of the Prime Minister, who isn't here. He still hasn't apologised for appointing Mandelson. And a few hours ago, he was telling this House that these documents couldn't be published. He was saying at PMQs that the leader of the opposition was outrageous and silly for even asking. And here we are, just a few hours later, and the government has had a total U-turn because they know that they can't get their own people to vote for this shameful proposed cover-up. The Prime Minister has not been decisive. He only sacked Peter Mandelson because we forced him to do. He said again and again that he had full confidence in him. And I think many voters will be thinking, why on earth was the Prime Minister so deeply in hock to this man? The truth is, he was not out on a limb over in Washington. He was a deeply embedded part of the Prime Minister's operation. He was involved in the selection of some of the MPs here today. He was involved in the Prime Minister's reshuffle. He was part of the toxic culture that the Health Secretary, the Labour Health Secretary, has warned about in Number 10. And most shamefully of all, we had a former Labour Prime Minister, Gordon Brown, whatever you think of him. He tried to get a document about some of the things that Peter Mandelson had done. He was rebuffed. Funnily enough, the documents couldn't be found. Madam Deputy Speaker, whatever you think of Gordon Brown, when you choose Peter Mandelson over Gordon Brown, you are making the wrong decision.
And here is another clip of what went down. Let's play it.
Directly, could he tell us, did the official security vetting that he received mention Mandelson's ongoing relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein? And he replied, yes, it did. Now, the point is that when the minister says he lied to the Prime Minister, but the Prime Minister knew that the relationship was ongoing. So even if he lied about some other aspect of the relationship, cannot the minister see that the fact there was any ongoing relationship at all with a man who'd been imprisoned for paedophilia and prostitution, can he not see that that was an impossible position to defend, and no subsequent lies or revelations alter the fact that the Prime Minister appointed him when he knew that he was in that ongoing relationship?
Now, here's the exchange involving Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Of course, for those who aren't in the UK, Labour Party, that's the governing party right now. And you'll see Keir Starmer get questioned about, what did you know? When did you know it? Does this, what kind of judgment is this that you brought in Mandelson? And what does this say about your judgment in other areas? And, and look, Keir Starmer and lots of people who support Starmer, are like, he's a well-intentioned, and decent human being. So he's trying to address it honestly. And it's a very difficult situation for him to weather. I'm not sure he's going to be able to survive this. Watch what happens when he's questioned. And you'll see this exchange right here.
Can the Prime Minister tell us, did the official security vetting he received mention Mandelson's ongoing relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein?
So clear. Prime Minister.
Yes, it did. As a result, various questions were put to him. I intend to disclose to this House all of the national security, prejudice to international relations on one side. I want to make sure this House sees the full documentation, so it will see for itself the extent to which time and time again Mandelson completely misrepresented the extent of his relationship with Epstein and lied throughout the process, including in response to the due diligence.
And then there was another line of questioning about Keir Starmer meeting with Palantir in the United States. Peter Thiel's in the, is in a lot of instances in the files as well. And Peter Mandelson, his company, has a lot of links with Palantir as well, as pointed out here. And so it's like you met with Palantir. And
let me tell you something. This is going to come back, and could it happen? I don't think so. But they might try to off Donald Trump behind all this, bro. There are probably high, powerful people right now thinking, really considering, people with power. I'm talking about the power people. This is just me speculating. This is just me and my thoughts. But I'm gonna tell you, there are right now a lot of powerful people that might be fucking considering on taking out Donald Trump behind all this bullshit, bro. This shit is spreading worldwide. The fucking the royal family, the United Kingdom Parliament. This is fucking Jeffrey Epstein is a dirty piece of shit for what he did, but was a smart, he had any and everybody roped up in this madness, bro. This is fucking crazy, bro. I'm telling you, man. This is crazy. Morning, Dem. Yeah, unfortunately for Democrats, they didn't read the testimony of Virginia Giuffre. She was star witness in the Epstein and Maxwell conviction. Her testimony completely exonerated. No.
Mandelson has the Palantir connection with Peter Thiel, and they were all speaking with Epstein in the files. Here, play this clip right here.
Briefly, Mr. Speaker, before I hand over to other members of the House, to the conduct of Lord Mandelson whilst he was our ambassador in Washington. And I think that this is very relevant for our debate today because it exposes again the Prime Minister's lack of judgment in appointing Peter Mandelson as our ambassador. There is obviously now very strong evidence to suggest that Mandelson behaved entirely inappropriately when he was a Secretary of State in the last Labour government. But there are now equally big questions outstanding about what was happening in 2025 in Washington. And this, as I say, is relevant now. On the 27th of February, 2025, the Prime Minister, whilst in Washington, visited the American data and AI company Palantir at its headquarters. The meeting did not appear in the Prime Minister's register of visits. It only came to light later. Now, Palantir, we should remember or remind ourselves, was a client of Global Counsel, the company in which Peter Mandelson had a commanding share.
Jesus Christ.
Later that year, Palantir received from this government a £240 million deal.
British companies couldn't compete.
That deal was granted by direct award. Given the allegations now coming to light about Mandelson's conduct, can the minister assure the House that the Cabinet Secretary will review the circumstances around the award of that contract and assure himself that there are no other such contracts, no other undisclosed meetings, that the government is going to go through all of the communications that Mandelson sent out whilst he was ambassador, messages we must assume, some of which were sent to old business contacts, potential few business contacts, and so on. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister knew that Peter Mandelson had maintained an unhealthy relationship with a man who was a convicted paedophile, and he appointed him to the role of ambassador anyway. Everybody in this House should be shocked by it. It must be concluded that had the Prime Minister been pressed on that point at the time, the appointment would not have been made. But the Prime Minister knew, his aides knew, and the appointment was made anyway. What else did he know? Only after this humble address, only if the government treats with it in good faith, will we know that. I very much hope that it is not the case that we find that there are gaps in our security and vetting process. If there are, the government will be able to fix them. But I think it's also likely that we'll see that there were reports that consistently raised concerns that were swept away. And it will then be the duty of the government to disclose who swept them away and why. Ultimate responsibility must rest with the Prime Minister. It is time for him to take responsibility.
And finally, where this kind of netted out is Prime Minister Starmer's forced to give the files relating to Mandelson's appointment as the UK ambassador to the United States to Parliament's Intelligence Committee. And, you'll see that there's a rebellion, not just by the opposition. I want to be clear as well, from Labour Party members of Parliament as well. The Labour Party doesn't support, the Labour Party doesn't know what to do because they clearly don't support this. They don't support Mandelson, and it puts them in a difficult.
Bro, this shit is getting ugly. Every fucking day, more and more fucking shit is coming out. More and more people are dropping like flies. Yo, he's taking down countries and everything. Like, this shit is to see. Look, I'm going to keep it real with you, bro. Once again, you up in here trying to act like Donald Trump ain't had nothing to do with this, bro. I'm not about to hear that bullshit, man. This nigga had his hand involved in all this shit. This is what kills me with these fucking Trump supporters, man. Take accountability. You went balls in with the man. Okay, it is what it is, but you got to take accountability. Hell no. Yeah, maybe he didn't touch Virginia Dufresne, but he touched a lot of other motherfucking little girls. He was a part of it. He's sticking his finger up people. Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Damn, this shit is crazy, bro. It just kills me how people still. You can't defend that shit, man. The fuck out of here. His name is in there over fucking 53,000 times. You can't defend that, bro. That's bullshit. There's still 3 fucking million files that they don't want to release. Those are the 3 million we need. What are you talking about? Come on, man. Come on, man. Stop this shit, man. I'm not engaging you. Not today. Not today, brother. I ain't got it. Not today.
Let's continue to explore some of the very dark secrets lurking in the Epstein files. Specifically, I want to focus this video on the documents, the emails, the text messages in the Epstein files that were released that seem to suggest that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were either in direct or indirect communication with each other up until the time when Jeffrey Epstein died. I don't want to speculate. I just want to go through the text messages and emails with you, and you could form your own opinion about how long that relationship between Trump and Epstein lasted. A reminder, the documents that have been released by Trump's DOJ are not the full Epstein files. It's just been a partial release of the 3 million documents. Trump's DOJ is concealing at least 3 million more documents, which could equate to 25 to 50 million more pages of Epstein files. And I believe that what's not been produced is far more devastating than what has been produced. So why don't we take a look right here at some of the emails that Epstein was sending. Let's take a look at these messages between Jeffrey Epstein and Mark Epstein. This is dated March 19th to March 21st of 2018. And here's what's stated. Mark says the following to Jeffrey. How are you doing? A while back, you mentioned that you were pre-diabetic. Has anything changed with that? What is your boy Donald up to now? Again, March 19, 2018. The response is, all good. Bannon with me, Jeffrey Epstein writes on March 19th of 2018. Then on March 21st, Mark Epstein writes, ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. And then they continue to talk about you and your boy Donnie can remake the movie Get Hard together. You mean Donnie T? So that's March of 2018 right there. Why don't we fast forward, and we'll rewind, but we'll fast forward to May 2019. These are text messages between Jeffrey Epstein and Steve Bannon. We know earlier in the week, Donald Trump was posting photos of Steve Bannon saying, great guy who was treated very unfairly. But here's what Epstein and Bannon were up to May 2019. The following messages were sent. Epstein goes, the financial statement rules extended in Trump land will keep the whole family safe from jail. Very, very clever. It will have to wait for our face-to-face. Trump had a fundraiser next door to my house on 71 yesterday. Bannon asks, did you drop by? To which Epstein says, I told them to ask if he wanted to come in for a massage. Trump's I don't war, typical head fake. You're wrong on this one through my reasoning with someone in the know. And they said, oi. Why don't we take a look at what was being said, though, on December 26th of 2016 between Boris Nikolic and Jeffrey Epstein. Now, Boris Nikolic was once a top advisor to Bill Gates, and Nikolic was actually the person who Epstein designated as his successor executor to his estate 2 days before Epstein died. Also, Nikolic and Epstein had lots of communications about Russia. And again, I'm not speculating. I'm going to read you. June 15th, 2015, Nikolic and Epstein said the following. Thank you, Jeffries. This is redacted. Great meeting you. This is redacted. With my next email, I will introduce you to Ilya Pomonarov. He is a member of the Duma and perhaps one of the most prominent Russians in exiles. A few articles are about him below. But let's take a look at what was being said December 25th and December 26th of 2016. Boris Nikolic says the following to Epstein. When are you back in New York City? To which Jeffrey Epstein says, 4th in Palm with all the Trump boys. Fun. Then Nikolic says, have fun. Hope to see you on the 4th. I leave for San Francisco on the 5th. So Jeffrey Epstein, right around December 25th, 26th, is saying, I'm going to be having some fun with the Trump boys. Palm Beach with the Trump boys. Fun. Okay, just to see if Donald Trump was at Mar-a-Lago then, I went and checked. Donald Trump was. December 25th, 2016, Trump received standing ovation at Christmas Mass. They were in Palm Beach at that exact time when Epstein said he was going to hang out with the Trump boys and having fun in 2016. Now, You could decide for yourself if that meeting actually took place. But here's what Epstein writes to somebody by the name of Richard Merkin, an executive, on January 8th of 2017. Here's what's being said. Jeffrey Epstein writes to Merkin on January 8th, 2017, "You well?" Merkin responds, "Fair, and you?" Epstein responds, "All good with Trump. Lots of opportunity." Merkin says, "Where?" Epstein says, "New York." Donald Trump was indeed in New York during this period of time. And so that seems to suggest that they were either meeting or they were having communications together. But why don't we go back a little bit further? Donald Trump's story is that sometime after 2004, he and Epstein had other communications, never heard from the guy ever again. Well, let's take a look at certain 28th, 2012. This is Jeffrey Epstein internal messages about a party at Mar-a-Lago. And it says, Mar-a-Lago, regarding your response to Mar-a-Lago after Christmas. And this seems to be some sort of invite to Mar-a-Lago during this time period. Let's take a look over here. This is an email from Epstein regarding Trump, telling an unnamed person not to bring black girls around Donald Trump. Epstein says Trump will be there, doesn't like black girls, and then they say a bunch of racist things and a lot more racist things here as well. And here's what's here's what's said in the email. January 22nd, 2013. Here are the messages from a person to Epstein. When we come up next month, I'm thinking about bringing redacted and redacted with us. They're up for anything. You'll love them. To which Epstein says, not a good idea. And then the person says, why? And then Epstein says, Trump will be there. Doesn't like black girls. And then he calls them, I don't want to say the name, won't go within 10 feet. And then the person SP says 10-4. So they are clearly going to a party together where Donald Trump is going to be there and talking about which girls they intend to bring there.
The world may feel like it's metaphorically on fire right now, but we also have to make sure we keep highlighting one truly existential issue that still isn't getting enough attention, and that's climate change. Because this is no longer about the distant future. This is urgent, and it's happening right now. And we care about these issues because we're going to keep covering them, and we're not looking away. Okay, Ben, back to you.
As Joni Ascola says as well, the media is missing one of the biggest stories in the emails that show that Epstein was working, at least with the Russians, about Donald Trump, leading up to some of the critical meetings that were taking place between Trump and Putin. So take a look at this message right here, June 24th of 2018. This is what Jeffrey Epstein is writing to Thorbjørn Jagland, the former prime minister of Norway. I think you might suggest to Putin that Lavrov can get insight talking to me. Vitaly Churkin used to, but he died? Question mark. Everyone knows that Churkin died. Churkin died in Manhattan under very mysterious circumstances 1 year before, which everybody believed Putin killed Churkin. That's widely believed about what happened. And Churkin was one of the top Russian diplomats within the United States, an oligarch who died mysteriously in 2017. And Epstein was working undisputably with Churkin and giving information about Donald Trump. I mean, that's an undisputed fact at this point. What they were saying, we don't know. Then Thorbjørn Jagland, the former prime minister of Norway, who had a top job in the European Council as well, said, I'll meet Lavrov's assistant on Monday and will suggest, thank you for a lovely evening. I'll come to you on high level week. And then they had the conversation. Churkin was great. He understood Trump after our conversations. It's not complex. He must be seen to get something. It's that simple. And this was right before the Helsinki meeting as well. Let's go through some of these other messages, shall we? Tom Barrack, who is currently the United States ambassador to Turkey and special envoy to Syria, is mentioned throughout these messages. Here's what Epstein says to Peter Thiel in 2016. Don't know how well you know Tom Barrack, who he is great. Who's that? He will be a speaker at the convention. He runs Colony Capital, solid, great real estate judgment, Donald's fundraiser. So they're talking about people who they're putting in these positions of power. One of the things also that's stated throughout these files is it appears that Epstein was being consulted by people in the Trump regime, and he has these conversations with Larry Summers about who's going to be Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary pick to replace Steve Mnuchin. December 25th, 2018. Let's take a look at what these messages say right here. Larry Summers says, call tonight. Will you be visiting Mar-a-Lago? And then so they're asking, will Epstein be going to Mar-a-Lago in 2018? To which Epstein responds over here, being asked for 3 names to replace Mnuchin, the former Treasury Secretary. What number are you at? Then obviously Larry Summers and Epstein are having a call to make suggestions to the Trump regime about, or the first Trump administration, about who would replace Steve Mnuchin as the Treasury Secretary. So just take a look at all of those messages that I just shared with you there. Just a reminder where Donald Trump lived, where he lives, Mar-a-Lago, where Jeffrey Epstein lives, 358 El Brillo Way. You see how close they are together right there. In the files, you can see what a great relationship Epstein had with MBS, the Crown Prince, the effective leader of Saudi Arabia, Donald Trump's bud. Remember when Donald Trump met with MBS? I mean, just look at Epstein and MBS in the Epstein files and take a look at an excited Trump starts grabbing at MBS. Here, play this clip.
It's another league, Mr. President.
Mr. President. And Trump doesn't give a fist pump. I grabbed that hand. I don't give a hell where that hand's been. I grabbed that hand. When remember Biden? He travels for 20 hours, gets out, and he gives a fist bump. No. When you get out of the plane and you get the future king and the man who's one of the most respected people in the world, you shake his hand. You don't give him a fist bump.
Then, of course, you have this declaration dated June 18th, 2016, linking Trump and Epstein from a Tiffany Doe. I personally witnessed defendant Trump telling the plaintiff she shouldn't ever say anything if she didn't want to disappear like the 12-year-old female, and that he was capable of having her whole family killed. After leaving the employment of Mr. Epstein in the year 2000, I was personally threatened by Mr. Epstein that I would be killed and my family killed as well if I ever disclosed any of the physical and sexual abuse of minor females that I had personally witnessed by Mr. Epstein or any of his guests. I am coming forward to swear to the truthfulness of the physical and sexual abuse that I personally witnessed of minor females at the hands of Mr. Trump and Mr. Epstein, including plaintiff, during the time of my employment through the years 1990 to 2000 for Mr. Epstein. I swear to these facts under penalty of perjury. By the way, in 2017, you had Epstein telling Larry Summers, really, I've told you, I've met some very bad people, none as bad as Trump, not one decent cell in his body. Yes, very dangerous. You have Epstein speaking with a New York Times reporter who's saying, I'm kind of shocked that our reporters did not contact you regarding the Trump women story. Seems he got off rather lightly, to which Epstein says, me too here as well. You have Epstein in 2015 saying, one more week till birthday, where are you? I hope David Koch got your message. Donald's financial disclosure is his Achilles heel right here. You got that message. Let's go through if there's any more that I think we should all look at together. Epstein to Peter Thiel, August 2016. Donald's New York supporters concern. We can talk if you like. He cannot release his tax returns. What are his options? They seem to be going over a plan before the November 2016 elections right there. What else do we got that I think is of note to share with you? July 16, 2017, Epstein to Nicholas Ribbs. Saw Matt C with DJT at golf tournament. I know why he was here. Funny. Again, they're talking about all this stuff and where Donald Trump is together. They're talking about this guy's the real deal. He would like to introduce you to the head of the right-wing party. I told him after November, Donald's head would explode if he knew you were now buds with the guy who on Monday will decide the Nobel Peace Prize. I told him next year it should be you when we settle China, defeat China. So you have Epstein back then recognizing how important the Nobel Peace Prize is with Donald and talking about, working through that together. I could keep going. So I ask you to form your own opinions right here about what you think. What you think after seeing all those files. Do you think that they were in communications or not? Do you think the truth is that their communications really ended in 2004? I could read you more stuff. I want to also leave you with this as well. You have Donald Trump now saying that he feels bad that former President Clinton is going to testify publicly about the Epstein, or that Clinton wants to testify publicly regarding the Epstein files. And so now Donald Trump's like, oh, I feel bad for Bill Clinton. He shouldn't have to. Are you scared that former President Clinton's going to testify publicly now? And that's putting pressure on you? Here, play this clip.
It bothers me that somebody's going after Bill Clinton. See, I like Bill Clinton. I still like Bill.
What do you like about him?
I liked his behavior toward me. I thought he got me. He understood me.
Anyway, let me know what you think right there. Everybody hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million, and thanks for watching.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.midastouch.com.
It's hard defending this, bro. It's hard to defend this shit. I'm telling you. Any way you put it, there's no way really to defend this. I'm sorry. What's good, people? We at the hour. Well, we passed the hour mark, but you already know. You hanging out with your boy Havoc 3E. This is Smoked Out Society. And we talking. We doing it. Anything politics right now. Seeing what the fuck going on out here. And like I said, it's crazy. Trump is getting more and more caught up in shit. Other countries are starting to feel the effect of motherfucking the Epstein files. This shit is wild crazy, bro. Just to know how far this fucking Epstein shit is reaching is just absolutely fucking unbelievable, yo. This shit is crazy, bro. It's just damn. This shit is really stretching out this far, yo. To other fucking countries. Other presidents and prime ministers are getting fucking fired and kicked the fuck out because they're involved in this craziness. This shit is just, psh. That's all you can say. This shit is just, psh. Let's see what's going on live. So I think the Trump said they're gonna go ahead and fucking they're gonna testify live. They're not bullshitting. They said that's exactly what they're gonna do. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to find it. See what's going on. I think I found something. I don't know if it's a clip. Let me see.
raising questions of whether the US First Lady wrote to Maxwell.
I mean, yes, I can assure that we complied with the statute. We complied with that. There are no, we did not protect President Trump. We didn't protect or not protect anybody. I mean, I think that there's a hunger or a thirst for information that I do not think will be satisfied by the review of these documents. And there's nothing I can do about that.
Trump has long denied any wrongdoing related to Epstein and has denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes. But the scandal has dogged him for months, in part because he promised to release the files during his presidential campaign in 2024. In the largest batch of Epstein files released so far, the US Department of Justice has made public some 3 million pages, including documents and videos. The fresh cache of files has thrown up several high-profile names. One big name among them is Howard Lutnick, a billionaire businessman who currently serves as a US Commerce Secretary. According to the released documents, Lutnick had planned a trip to Epstein's private island of Little St. James in 2012. The visit has not been previously disclosed by Lutnick. Interestingly, in an interview last year, Lutnick had claimed that around 2005, he and his wife had been so revolted by Epstein that they decided to not associate with him again. But the latest documents contradict Lutnick's claims and show that they had remained in touch. The newly released documents further show that in 2017, Epstein had contributed to a charity dinner honoring Lutnick. And in 2018, the duo exchanged emails discussing construction plans. Another big name in the files is that of former British ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson. According to emails published by the Justice Department in 2009, Epstein had sent £10,000 to Mandelson's husband, Reynaldo Avila da Silva. At the time of the Mandelson was business secretary and the de facto deputy prime minister to Gordon Brown. Further, the released emails show that Mandelson had even discussed staying at Epstein's property while he was serving a prison sentence in 2009. Last year, Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer had sacked Mandelson as the UK's ambassador to the US. The action came after it emerged that Mandelson had sent supportive messages to Epstein following his conviction. A fresh batch of Jeffrey Epstein files are out after the US Department of Justice released millions of documents related to the late convict or convicted sex offender. On Friday, the Justice Department published a new and final cache of documents under a law that was passed in November last year, mandating the release of all records related to Epstein. Several high-profile names are mentioned in these files. Among them is US President Donald Trump, who was once friends with Epstein before the two had a fallout. His name has come up in previous tranches of the Epstein files as well. The files include FBI compiled list of allegations to Trump, many of them involve scholars and unverified tips. Some of these tips were deemed to lack credibility. The Justice Department says that some of the documents contain sensational claims against Trump and were submitted to the FBI before the 2020 elections, but added that these claims were unfounded and false. The newly released Epstein files also include an email addressed to the late financier's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. The of both sender and receiver is signed name Melania, raising questions if the First Lady wrote to Maxwell.
I mean, yes, I can assure that we complied with the statute, we complied with the act, and there is no, we did not protect President Trump, we didn't protect or not protect anybody. I mean, I think that there's a hunger or a thirst for information that I do not think will be satisfied by the review of this. And there's nothing I can do about that.
Trump has long denied any wrongdoing related to Epstein and has denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes, but the scandal has dogged him for months because of his campaign in 2024. In other news at this hour, just the past more than 1,000 videos and 180,000 pictures tied to the Jeffrey Epstein case. Among them are shocking documents which reveal how Andrew, formerly known as the Duke of York, invited late convicted sex offender to the Buckingham Palace shortly after he was released from house arrest in 2010. The invitation to the royal residence in central London appears in one of the millions of new pages released by the US Justice Department. In one exchange dating back to September 27, 2010, Epstein contacted Andrew during his stay in London. He asked what time Andrew would like to meet and mentioned the need for private time. The former prince replied that he was leaving for Scotland, adding that they could have dinner at Buckingham Palace, offering plenty of privacy. In another email 2 days later, Andrew emailed Epstein, stating that he was delighted to have him at the palace. He suggested Epstein could bring anyone he wishes to. Andrew told him that he would be free from 4 to 8 p.m. It was unclear whether the dinner ever took place. At the time, Buckingham Palace was the official London residence of the late Queen Elizabeth II. This is not the first time Andrew's name surfaced in the Epstein case. Earlier, several documents revealed his association with a convicted sex offender. Adding to his woes, one of Epstein's accusers, Virginia Giuffre, claimed she was trafficked to Andrew on 3 occasions, twice when she was just 17. After Virginia Giuffre launched.
Thank you very much. The crown molding looks perfect.
Of course. It was my pleasure.
Oops. Looks like we might have another project for you. By any chance, does Mr. Handyman fix?
Yes, to all of it.
And detailed her encounter with the former prince in her memoir, which was published posthumously. The uproar in Britain over Andrew's ties to Epstein led King Charles III to strip his brother of all royal titles and honors, as well as remove him from his Windsor estate in West London. Andrew, who is now known by the surname Mountbatten Windsor, continues to maintain no wrongdoing. He has denied that he sexually abused Giuffre.
Elon Musk is responding after his name appeared in a fresh set of documents linked to Jeffrey Epstein released by the US Justice Department. The billionaire took on X on Saturday after email exchanges between him and Jeffrey Epstein were made public as part of the latest filed release. In those emails, Musk had asked about possible gatherings at Epstein's private island. Responding to the disclosures, Musk
Hey, India, bro. Get the fuck out of here, bro. That's how crazy it is, bro. This shit done got the fucking India. This is wild, bro. I don't know, man. This shit is just crazy.
Now, so again, and want to do something bipartisan? Maybe we all can join on a bipartisan appeal to this administration to find out why Ghislaine Maxwell was moved to a cushy facility after she exonerated Donald Trump. So I'm sorry. I mean, we've lived through the last several weeks, as Republicans have tried to avoid dealing with this issue. And so I hope, and I trust that there's bipartisan cooperation on the Oversight Committee, and I want that investigation to move forward. But for the life of me, I do not understand why the administration, after promising to release all the files, has chosen not to. So that's what I'm confused about. I thank the gentlelady for yielding.
Thank you. Mr. Comer, I think in your introduction, just for folks who are trying to play catch up here, because there's a lot of details and a lot of names being thrown around, you said that one of the issues here is that the U.S. attorney who initially handled Mr. Epstein's case gave him a sweetheart deal. That's right, isn't it?
Was the initial U.S. attorney was who?
Well, you didn't name him, but it was Alex Acosta, right?
I don't know if he was the initial, but he was one of them. Yeah, he gave him,
So he was the U.S. attorney appointed by George Bush in
One of
Florida,
them,
whatever
yes.
district, and he's the one that gave the deal to Epstein, where he served a couple months, but basically got out on Saturday, despite horrific that we now know occurred. Okay, and in his later career, he became Secretary of Labor in the first Trump administration, right? And he had to leave after reporting disclosed this sweetheart deal. Is that right?
I don't know what caused him to leave, but
It was about that time.
okay.
So, Mr. Garcia, I know we've heard that you've received some materials. Are there redactions in those materials?
Yeah, there are appropriate redactions. We will be able to review the full materials. There'll be some opportunity to review the materials without some redactions from the committee staff and committee members that don't put any of the victims in harm's way. But there are some, again, the reality about the materials, though, is there's nothing really with a small amount, a couple thousand pages of new information. I mean, all the information was first given to right-wing influencers back in February, and then has been released to the public, whether it's been through the media or other ways. And so we can get full files. They're not answering our questions. We're asking, when are we getting the rest of the files? We get no response. And to clarify, Ms. Gallen, I think it was said earlier by another member of the committee that we're somehow opposing this resolution, or we're not opposing anything. We want full disclosure. If the majority wants to put together a resolution to add to more disclosure, that's fine. But that resolution should in no way supplant the discharge petition or serve some action to not
Reporting that under Attorney General Bondi, hundreds of FBI and DOJ man hours have been dedicated to redacting all references to the president. So is there anything to indicate that the materials you've received thus far contain some of those redactions?
So
It's November and Thanksgiving's almost here. Last month, a crazy turkey came on my lot and raised all my prices. I've got to get my low prices back, so I'm going to get this turkey. Come here, turkey, I'm going to get you. All month long, we're slicing high prices on used cars like Thanksgiving turkey. That means low prices on BMW, even Hellcat, Scat Pack, Corvette, Audi, Mustang, Toyotas, Jeeps, Maserati, even this Bronco. And if you want a car just to make it to Thanksgiving dinner, we got plenty of budget-friendly cars that will leave you plenty of room for gas and all the gravy you want. On top of that, we're offering 0% financing on all new 2025 Mitsubishis to qualified customers. That turkey is cooked just like his high prices. Check out all of our low prices online, or better yet, put your phone down, get off the couch, and come on down and come see us. I'd give them away, but my wife won't let me.
Redactions
right.
or claims of privilege or whatever.
But that's important, certainly in future documents. So
Yes.
as more documents come forward, ensuring that that is a piece of it is going to be important.
And I guess going back to this issue of Ghislaine Maxwell getting this cushy assignment, my understanding is that when she was moved to this new facility, that was against Bureau of Prison regulations, and someone higher up from the White House or the Attorney General's office would have had to excuse that normal Bureau of Prison rule.
That is
that
correct.
right? Okay. That's what I thought. Thank you.
Just I think the revision Democrats on the Oversight Committee and demanding answers as to why Ghislaine Maxwell was moved and who gave the orders to move Ghislaine Maxwell. We still don't know that answer.
I think that's an important part as well. And pleased to have been able to sign the discharge petition before we came up for this hearing. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Scanlon. Mr. Norman, you're recognized.
I thank both of you for coming. I think what's interesting about this hearing, Mr. Governor, you've been kind of very critical of everything that's been going on here. And about getting answers. Some of it, we need answers. Confused. What I'm confused about, you were elected Congress in 28 years. You were chairman of this committee, the Rules Committee, from 2019 to 23. Now, if this is all of a sudden so important, when you as chairman, you had every right to bring up everything we're talking about now. What did we hear from you? Crickets. So that's the big confusion I have. And Representative Comer, the thing about political grandstanding, that's all this is.
Well, I didn't.
And I don't.
Presidential campaign
hold on,
saying it was a
I'm
release
not
of Epstein files.
If I've got the floor, I'll recognize you, but I'm not. We're not going to talk over each other. Have some decency. This is an anti-Trump. You're asking all these questions. Who released Ghislaine Maxwell? When you had the opportunity, you didn't say one word. This is anti-Trump, and it's coming out for that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this: how many victims were interviewed today?
6.
And you think it's hundreds?
They said it was hundreds, like close to 1,000, but hundreds. It's what the attorneys for the victim the attorneys were represented by 4. The victims were represented by 4 attorneys, and they said as many as 1,000.
Well, the process is moving forward. Right. We all know the discharge petition. I don't mind having 2 tracks, but the bottom line is, Mr. Governor knows it has to go to the Senate. I don't know what they'll do with it, but it's going to take time. You're not waiting on anything.
No.
You're moving forward.
We're moving forward.
And like Chairman Fox said, everything's going to get released. Now, let me ask you this. Are the flight logs public information? Who flew on the planes?
Is it? Okay. Some are, but the estate subpoena should cover more of that.
We all know anybody that's how far back with the flight logs? You can alter a flight log. If you're flying on a plane, you can't.
Back to 1990.
Okay, 1990. We know people that were on that flight weren't going over there to have Bible studies.
Right.
They were doing other things. So we'll see, is your opinion, all the flight logs of whoever went, doesn't matter.
Right.
That will be released.
Yeah. I mean, I want to know. I think everybody wants to know.
You hit it on the head, James. I mean, people want to know the names.
Yeah.
If a crime has been committed against thousands of women, young girls, this transcends politics. That's why I don't understand. The fact that you're politicizing this is not right. This transcends. This is young girls getting abused. So the fact that the flight logs will be released, we'll know the names of who flew over there. And then the public, I think that's the big name. If crimes have been committed, who did it?
Right.
And then let them face a trial, let them face a jury of peers. Now, I think Ms. Scanlon said the redactions by Attorney General Bondi contained things with President Trump. Now, what did you say, Representative Garcia? That was not right.
Correct. I think, well, first to be clear, I think the Attorney General herself has said that President Trump is in the Epstein files. To be clear, that's been reported. And as far as what redactions include the president, we don't have the files yet to know what those redactions actually are.
But when you get the files, both of you will ask the question, why were they redacted? Who did it? And as far as who put Miss Maxwell in another prison, I assume that will come forward.
Well, and to be clear, our request has been to redact the names of the victims. There shouldn't be circumstances, nor would we support redacting the names of the perpetrators or anyone that actually committed the harm. And so that would not be our expectation. And so we think the full release of the files is important to check that work, of course.
Okay. So so it's not, nothing with President Trump has been redacted to your knowledge of what's been released so far.
If anything with President Trump's name has been redacted, it has not been, it's not something that's been in anything, it's not any new information. Okay. So that has not been presented to the public.
So this just further illustrates this is just a hatred of a president who has got support of 77 million people.
I mean, sir, I mean, it's the president that actually campaigned on releasing the full files when he was running. I mean, he had made this the central issue of one of the central issues of his campaign.
Aside from that, though, you had 4 years under the Biden administration. He was chairman of a committee. He could have brought it up day one. He didn't do it. So if all of a sudden the interest, to be honest, I'm glad it's coming out now. There's been a lot transpired with Ghislaine Maxwell, the death of, I don't know, when did Epstein die?
2019, August.
2019. Okay, so a lot's happened over the 20 years of this. Well, thank you for what you're doing. I think that the public needs to know, as they do on most everything. There are a lot of questions of the government involvement in the shooting of President Trump. I mean, that's going to come out at some point, not only Butler, Pennsylvania, but to Gulf. So, is there anything you want to add to what Mr. Garcia or any?
No, I just think that, you know, the subpoena covers everything. I mean, if there are flight logs with the estate, that'll fall under the subpoena. If there are questions about why Maxwell was moved from Florida to Texas, that'll fall under the DOJ subpoena. So we are moving forward, and the Department of Justice has been working with us to turn over those documents. It takes a long time to gather and transfer 34,000 pages, and we're hopeful there's more, and we'll look at that and then post it online as quick as we can.
Okay.
Mr. Norman, would you yield for a minute?
Pardon me?
Would you yield for a minute?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'll yield.
Sure. I just wanted to seek unanimous consent to put in the Newsweek article from August 1st of this year, so just last month, in which it talks about the fact that Trump's name was in the Jeffrey Epstein.
You share everything, especially savings. Couple your cars and couple savings. Elephants.
Bro, when it's all said and done, there's so much going on. It's just ridiculous. But I'm going to get up out of here, people. I got to start getting ready. I got to be to work in a little bit. If anything else new come out and it's really worthwhile, I'll go live from work. But other than that, I'm out of here. Y'all already know, in the words of Light and Pain, Boricuas on the set. Smoked Out Society. We out.